with GoPros as well. I mean, come on. That's actually badass. These cameras today, I mean, it's freaking... They're awesome, man.
I know. I need tech support right now.
Tech support.
Tech support in the...
Get the GoPro, dude.
In route.
Dude, it'd be cool to be sponsored by GoPro. I don't have to worry about the cameras.
Yeah, dude. All this stuff I bought, all the stuff you bought too. I'm not saying everything.
It's by your pocket.
Yeah, it's a pocket, but it's a, I don't know, it's a passion that I have, and I don't even have my other mic on for the backup. Oh, fucking rookies over here.
It's about to get started.
So, yep. All right. Well, I know you're pressed for time, so
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Crash and Chug. We have David Acevedo here, aka Epic MTB. He's got the shirt going right there. He's got his own apparel. Yep. He's got his own apparel line, and he's doing a bunch of different stuff, kind of like I am. Probably a little bit more successful in it than I am, but hey, you know what? It's all a journey, and it's part of the process. And like we were just talking about a little while ago, it's not about being successful right away. It's about actually putting in the work and then getting better each rep. So
definitely. Yeah, I mean, you jump into things and you're not probably ready, but you just keep doing it and you get better at it. So that's key. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Happy to be here, man. We finally get to connect up, and yeah, dude, we've been. I think you were definitely that first person that got me pretty much riding a good, decent bike.
That's wild, because when you brought that up in Bentonville, I was like, really? I was?
Yeah,
but
dude.
I remember that day, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? The impact we can create in somebody else. And same for me, it happens to all of us, right? We think like, oh, yeah, I'm so good at riding, or I'm so terrible at riding, right? And then somebody comes around and is like, oh, actually, you do really good, man. You got me riding out there. You got me either or working out or something. And it's like, dang, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm helping out other people. And I'm not even trying to do anything. It's just really, I'm just telling you, hey, I'm working out here, or I'm riding out here.
Right.
And just putting my passion out there. And people are like, oh, yeah, I can connect with your story. I can do it.
So, yeah, that's two things you bring up. So, like, passion, right? And I heard this a while back, and I'm probably going to jack it up when I repeat it. But when somebody has a passion in something, they naturally impact the others because they love it. And when you love something, you kind of draw that attention, and people want, whether they realize it or not, they want something to be passionate about. And through that, when they see you like passionate about something, or anybody passionate about something, they actually try to, whether go down the same path or they try, but they may start it like, mountain biking, for instance, or they might start mountain biking and then go like a different direction, whether riding motorcycles or anything like that.
Yep.
So it's being aware also, like, because you're on social media and what have you, but it's also, do you want to be that, whether we like to think of it or not, but an influencer, right?
Yeah. In all aspects, you certainly are. Yeah, you influence people with your content, with what you're doing. I mean, I guess the term has been misutilized a lot, and a lot of people certainly are using the pro in the bad form. And I want to sell you your product, and this is it. I'm going to get you a drink or something that, because of this drink, I have something. No, actually, we show our products and stuff we do, but certainly we're like, hey, go ride. I'm riding this type of bike. I like it. This is my favorite bike. But tomorrow it could be a different one. I'm just kind of showing off my bike because I love it. Yeah. Right. And that's kind of what we all do. Same with equipment, stuff that we're wearing. It's like, yeah, I like it. Right. But if it actually helps you and motivates you to get it, I guess that, ultimately I'm in that influencer to help you out and decide potentially. Right. But yeah, the goal is to really, hey, I'm using it. It's working out pretty good for me. And,
right.
I mean, if you want to have it, to go for it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I hope, and that's probably one thing that people don't realize is like, so one, if they're an influencer, how are you influencing people, right? If you're aware that you're an influencer because you can influence anybody, whether you're trying to or not, whether it's a conversation you have, whether it's working on the gym, and like you said, like, hey, you need a spot real quick. And then you might just say something like, hey man, like, we all fail, like say they can't get the lift or something. And that might resonate with them, like, because they might just be beating themselves up, like, hey, I couldn't do it, I suck, or whatever.
Yep.
But then you say that, like something that's seemingly meaningless to us, we say it and it impacts them in a positive way, and then it kind of just resonates. And it's really all about affecting your circle positively or negatively. And to go back to you, one of the I met you that day. You seem like a good dude, you know what I mean? Like, and and we kind of sporadically would link up and ride or what have you. And then, but with that, I really didn't get to know you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We were just like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, it's like small talk, right? Like
small talk completely. Yeah, absolutely.
So with that, when it's cool to actually meet somebody that is on social media or what have you, and you can't really tell who the person is unless they're like constantly like speaking to the camera or like doing vlogging or something like that. And even then,
it's kind of like unrealistic still. They're not showing everything that's going on,
right? But to your credit is to actually meet you, have long conversations, especially like when I feel like I really got to know you was in Bentonville.
Yeah,
when you went with us on the trip to TDTP, and the conversation we had in the evening, riding, and then like the walk that me and Sandy,
that was a good walk.
To.
Yeah. Humid. Man. Oh my gosh, it was humid up there, but it was fun. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, absolutely same. We get to ride, we get to do so many things, but at some point you kind of you do that social work, and I guess you post pretty much everything out there, but you're not really connecting with people as much, or maybe you connect, but it's only like, I'm going to connect with you just riding,
Right.
We're not going to talk about whatever we think about or anything. We just want to go and ride, have fun, decompress, get this stressed out for a minute, and just get out there and have fun, That's kind of the goal. But something that you mentioned right there is super important too, that motivational aspect. A lot of people think, hey, I'm bad at riding, I'm so bad, I cannot corner well, I cannot send a jump. I mean, I've sent jumps and drops that they're scary, and I send them once, and then I don't want to send them anymore. It's like, it happens. There's days I don't feel on the zone. There's going to be days I'm like, dude, I'm scared today. I don't know why.
Right.
That thing is just getting me. I don't know it. I don't know why. So I'm not going to send it. I'm not going to crash. I'm thinking about crashing probably or getting hurt. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. But that helps a lot of individuals also think that if they're just coming up, it's like, we're not freaking, experts at anything in reality. We're just like, hey, we feel good, we send it.
Right.
And same with weights and stuff. We can probably get better workouts certain days, and other days it's just terrible. It happens. It's life,
Yeah.
That's something good to reflect out there too, that a lot of people might think, hey, all these pros, they're awesome all the time. Yeah, but they also have their bad days. So don't beat yourself so bad. I mean, you can definitely practice, get better, and there's going to be days that are going to be terrible, and other days are going to be awesome.
Yeah, because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all human, right? And with that is you come with your bad days, you have, down days or whatever. I mean, whether that's physically or mentally, emotionally, whatever. Because life, it's just like that. You don't know what's going to happen, right? And then with that, like how you're going to react to it. But with that, it's good. Like you brought up a good point, because it kind of goes back to my most recent crash. I had my roost guard on, or I had it, and I was gonna put it on, but for some reason I was like, well, we're just sessioning. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do anything or whatever.
Nothing
I think
crazy.
I think I'm pretty comfortable around cameras. But my point is that, and then I had elbow pads too. I didn't wear them, but it's just like, all right, so it wasn't. I think it was partly ego, partly like, I think in the sense of like, I should be good. Like, I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm not going to do the whole run, et cetera, or whatever. But with that, I should have like played smart and just like, cause there was something telling me in the back of my mind, like, hey, put that stuff on. And I didn't. And
oh, dang. And
yeah.
oops.
So it's important that you do that. And most of the time I do listen to that.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. Because that's something like however you want to see things, or whether it's your guardian angel or like, something. It's something to like or just maybe just like just yourself, like, hey, be smart.
Yeah. No, I think I'm with you 100%. There's a lot of days I'm like, I'm not wearing much pads. I remember shoot the moon. I sent that thing with no pads, no nothing, right? And now I'm completely padded up. I'm like, I'm not sending that.
Yeah.
But again, when you have that feeling of, maybe I have to think about this twice, or if you have that thought, it's like, oh gosh, I gotta protect myself just a bit more.
Yeah.
I usually put this stuff on for sure. I'm not wearing much of elbow pads anymore. I even knee pads. A lot of time, I'm just gonna skip them. But when I go to Spider, for example, or if I go to places that I know I'm gonna go fast and I'm gonna go push myself, I just put him on.
Yeah,
I just need to do it.
When I was coming off that wall ride, dude, it was probably the fastest I've ever been going. Yeah, I was like, even Chuck was like, dude, you were smoking. And I was just, and it was just, I should have had a plan where I was going to stop. And there's all these things I should have did, right? Hindsight's 2020. But with that, I think, certain times, like whether you things happen for a reason, right? But that, it could have been seen as an unfortunate incident, right? And it was. Yeah, it sucks. I'm not riding, but luckily I've learned from injuries how to like shift my focus, and luckily I've kind of became aware that I'm not all about mountain biking. There's other things I need to kind of do, and that came from injury.
Absolutely, and I've been there too. So I haven't had. Well, I had a major crash over Seguin, right? It was 3 hours, having fun. I was tired. I was just being dumb. I shouldn't send that jump, right? I was like, maybe I have some speed. I'm going to go for it.
Right.
And I thought I had the speed, and I didn't. So my reaction was, I'm going to throw the bike out and get the impact for some reason.
Yeah.
I didn't want to case it. I didn't want to go OTB.
Right.
I was kind of lame. From my perspective, I just went for it, shoot the bike out. I went in, hit the ground. That was 6 months of recovery.
Yeah.
I think the problem was not crashing, was the pain after the fact. I didn't fracture any bones, anything gladly, but most of my muscles, I mean, everything was completely jacked. So my right side of my body was completely done. So I actually, I think it was almost a month later, I was going to Florida to ride with my brother.
Oh, yeah, so, I remember that. I remember you telling me about that trip.
That was a terrible ride. But I was able to ride still, going super easy and stuff. But I got you. You always shift your mindset into, okay, I guess I got to be working out. And now I got to fix myself. Now I need to be working out in areas that, how do I improve my body? How do I improve my stability? Obviously, I went off balance big time because I'm using more one side than the other.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that happen when you definitely have an accident like that. And it could happen anywhere,
Yeah.
That was in mountain biking. Later on, I mean, it was early this year. Hang on. Yeah, this year. My gosh, time is just flying by.
Yeah.
I went to the gym. I'm doing hip thrust, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I went up in weights, and I hurt my back. And that was 2 months of pain. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
So, but again, it's just, okay, now I got to be smarter. You learn from those lessons for sure. I was able to ride my bike easily. I couldn't do much stuff. And that's probably what I'm not doing much of the drops perspective too, because when I land, I feel the pain.
Right.
And I might lose grip or I might lose strength on one of the legs. I'm like, I'm just going to take it easy there. But now I've been working on that more smarter, working with the stability, getting more of that perspective. Okay, I hurt myself this way. What do I do to get better? Same with mountain biking. I hurt myself going off a jump. There are floater jumps. There are senders. There are not leapy ones and stuff. So what happened? I started learning, how do I bunny hop? How do I work with dumps? Stuff I've been figuring out. Same with Bentonville. It's like, now I get it. Things are starting to click in at the right times, really, through practice.
So, like, when you were, you went to Arizona recently, right?
Yeah. Sedona Bike Fest, yeah.
So, speaking of, lessons learned, and you kind of referenced, pros earlier, you were riding with some pros.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, your GoPro didn't, so by today's belief system, it probably never happened. You know what I mean? That's
that was so terrible. Yeah, I get to ride with all the Seg Bike Hacks and Kyle Warner, MTB. I mean, all these dudes are awesome. All the group rides. Obviously, it's massive groups.
Right.
Everybody's going out, but just to be able to be on that energy that these guys are bringing, it's just awesome. The stoke levels are super high. Everybody's just focused on getting stuff done. I rode a lot with Christina Chapeta too, and Brad. And these dudes were so awesome, right? You see them these guys are pros, right? They're freaking riding awesome stuff. But you see them so humble too. When you go out there in the trails, it's not about ego. It's not about. There's some certain people probably will have some ego,
right?
And it's normal. But these guys are, super connected to the ground. They're like, dude, we're having fun. We're trying to make this thing awesome. I'm going to show you the lines. Keep it safe. Keep having fun. I don't want you to get hurt with me.
Right.
If I'm sending something good, if you can follow me, go for it.
Right.
By all means. So I definitely feel I progressed a lot there, but also understood that, hey, these guys are also like any of us. They're just trying to have fun. They're trying to keep it safe. Obviously, they have more time to ride bikes. They get paid to do that.
Right.
So that's a major difference. But that trip was fantastic. I'll say that trip was super awesome. Very similar experience to what it was in Bentonville too. I'm not riding with those famous pros, but you guys are freaking, ripping good. For me, it's like, wow, I can ride with these dudes, and things are just, I just changed my perspective,
Yeah.
to get to ride with you guys and see also your progression and everybody else's progression. I'm progressing, so everybody's like on that boat of progression and getting better rather than, he's doing it better than me. No, we're having fun. If you don't feel it today, don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
We got tomorrow.
And that's what it's all about. I mean, whether it's in mountain biking, whether it's working out, whatever, it's like really trying to, push the community forward, right? And If anything I've learned within the military or like just working in the nonprofit space, whatever, you can't do it alone. You're not going to know everything. And like, you have to be willing to accept that, that somebody may be better than you. And it's just like, put your ego aside and then like learn what you can and you don't have to take everything, but you can learn from anyone.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. And so in that perspective, right, I work on the military now, but I've been in both spaces, in the commercial space and the military space now. And I mean, you don't want to be that guy that knows it all, for sure.
Yeah.
And none of the spaces, like, you always want to have somebody that will be better at you in certain areas and certain aspects. And that's great. Those are great compliments. When you have a group, there's some dude that's going to be that day super stoked and he'll be sending stuff. You're like, well, I'm going to follow him today. I feel good. I think I can do it.
Right.
And you got somebody else also connecting with that dude and progressing. Right. It's cool, to have, to be humble about, what you do and what you're learning every day. And obviously not making fun of people. A lot of people are trying to get in and just have fun. And if you start messing around with them, obviously, you're going to kill their dream potentially, or you're going to make them stronger.
Right.
But the goal is to have a good, brotherhood, everybody having fun and freaking just, have a good time out there.
Right.
That's the goal right there.
So like you kind of mentioned one thing, like being humble, right? Is that something like that you kind of learned like growing up, or is it always been part of your character, or is it just something you learned?
I think it's been kind of part of my character. At some point, you get those times as a teenager, you feel like you're a guy.
Yeah,
it's normal, right?
Yeah.
I think because of the nature of my job, I had to be. I was probably humble a couple of times for sure. Where you have probably a dude that's just starting up, but he knows way more stuff than you, or he's actually very good at figuring out things and fixing problems quicker than you probably, or actually being that right hand. It's like, don't care. He doesn't care about what you know. He's just like, I'm going to go and help you out. And we'll fix this problem. I think my career helped me out big time with that, understanding that you have to be collaborating with others. You want to be with, a good group of people so you can get further. Because, going solo, sure, go for it. You're going to be having nightmares every single day.
Yeah.
Instead of, let me take turns. Everybody has a little nightmare every other night, but it's not you all the time.
Right.
While there's something going on or a project that is massive, large scale. So for me, I work with large scale projects, and it's pretty intense. If something goes down, we're talking a couple of minutes down, you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars going out the window. So bosses aren't happy, anything like that. So you don't want to be with an ego for sure.
Right.
There's people for sure. It's part of nature, right? That people will have. But I think, over the years, you get better. Over the years, you kind of find yourself also. And also something that I think that clicked on me big time was, hey, everybody has his own struggles. They have their own battles. At some point, I was probably judgy because it's normal. We go through that stuff and we don't know. But when you start experiencing battles and stuff, it's like, whoa, now I understand. Maybe I can side more with people, and actually instead of doing whatever, if that person is out there on the trails or in the gym, it's like, hey, dude, awesome, you're doing good, you're looking good. That just changes everything, right? And you're just humbling yourself and letting go of that feeling of, I'm the best one out here. No, I'm just another dude trying to have fun, try to get better every day. But the humbleness, I definitely think, it's an evolution thing. You got to go through it. It could be part of a character, but I think it's something you build over the years for sure.
Yeah, get your ass kicked a couple of times.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to. Well, I was the youngest too, so I was always getting kicked. My brother, it was a lot of fun, but we had fantastic times when we were kids, right?
I was just saying in general, but I guess specifically you can go into your...
Yeah, absolutely. But it happens, right? When you're the younger too, it's like, well, you either get to be the stronger at some point because you get upset of everybody, hitting at you or doing whatever. You're just, you get the least stuff. You're just a young kid and nobody cares. But I think that probably helped me too, to build that character and also be appreciative of others. For me, again, I don't care. I work with guys. I hang out with guys that are freaking, they're president of a company. There could be directors. There could be vice presidents and stuff. And for me, it's like, we are at the same level human-wise. I don't care what level you have position-wise within your job. If we're working on a project, I'll respect your role for sure. But doesn't mean you're unreachable for me. We can all talk. We can all have a good time. I'm not going to say, sir, I cannot talk to you because you're something else. No,
Right.
how you doing? How it's like treating you, you know.
Right.
I always go by that, and I think that's actually been great for me, you know,
That's good.
connecting with people in a good way.
Yeah, because like in the military, there is some of that, like where, like early on in my earlier ranks, I didn't want to speak to certain ranks that like above E6 or what have you, because usually, I don't know, maybe it was my upbringing, the culture, or what have you, but I didn't want to like chance to get in trouble for something, you know, or I didn't want to get in their way or something like that.
Yeah, I hear you.
But with that, when I kind of came into a leadership position, I had to learn really quick that one, I didn't know everything. Two, yeah, I could have did probably more legwork to be more of a professional in my craft and what have you. But a lot of times, some of the stuff that we had so many responsibilities, and because in the Air Force, it's you have your job, you're asked to do a lot of different things within that job. So in communications, so you got to do everything from using heavy equipment to put the cable into the ground, to running it in manholes, splicing it, testing it, troubleshooting.
It's a lot of fun.
Right. And then with that, we also had antennas, which we had to climb towers. We had to test them, terminate, etc. And then switches, configuring switches, network, LAN, WAN, you know, everything, you know. And it's hard to know all that information. And if your mission subset, like at your base, doesn't have, like, let's say, antenna work because it's contracted out to, I don't know, whoever.
Other supplier, yep.
So then you would deploy, and then you were in charge of a shop. And then if you've never done antenna work, you know, because you just haven't had the opportunity to, you had to lean on the younger guys or the people that, you know, that you outranked, and you just be like, hey, I don't know. I didn't have the opportunity. So show me how to do this. And then I would ask them questions. I would sometimes put them in charge, you know, like, hey, this is your job. Let me know if you need anything. I can facilitate it. So it was like, because that was another thing. I was talking to Liz, a friend of ours. She came on the podcast, but she was Army. They would deploy as units. They would go to, you know, I don't know, somewhere in Maryland, train together, kind of learn each other, you know, like a really, like, you know, short window to learn everything you can, and then you deploy together, and then you're on the deployment and you kind of gel a little bit more, and then you're like pretty much collaborating
Yep.
all, because you have to, like, it's like, you know, when you're building a diamond, not building a diamond, when a diamond's being created, it's like time and pressure and heat, I believe. But all those things kind of, you know, forge like something beautiful or something ugly. I don't know. Either way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either way. But with that, when we used to deploy in like singles, you know, because we had a smaller footprint. So it'd be like, all right, we're going to get this person from California, BO Air Force Base. We're going to get this person from, Massachusetts. We're going to get this person from Germany. And they're all going to meet at this location, right? And then you don't know who you're deploying with. You don't know their strengths, their weaknesses. So you spend like the first, 30 to 45 days trying to learn them, their interpersonal skills, what they're good at, what they're not, if they're, you know what I mean? And so you're having to do all that. And then you have, 2 months or 3 months, depending on how long your deployment is. You finally get in a groove, and then you got to rotate back. So it was that constant, like, always having to adapt to the circumstances, the mission, whatever was kind of coming down the pipe. And then one thing I also learned was, if you need a fucking sweep, sweep. If you need to do this. Like, we don't got time for it. You can't really say it's not my job. It's not my, because
just do it. Just act on and figure it out. Yeah. So
with that, it kind of enabled me to be more versatile in like what I'm learning. So if somebody knows something I don't, I'll go ask, hey, can you mind if I watch, or can you teach me?
Yeah.
But with that, mountain biking, the same thing. I started riding on a hardtail, and I crashed a shit ton, but at the same time, like,
learn a lot,
people like Jesse Salas, even like Ron Russell, Victor, like some of the older guys, they would give me tips here and there. I wouldn't always, it wouldn't click all the time with me, like, especially like something like boosting or jumping or anything like that.
Absolutely.
I'm kind of still, I think I'm starting to learn that now, but it's through practice and, repetition. But
and
with
messing
that,
up so many times too.
yeah, but it's with that. It's also being open. Like, hey,
Yeah.
teach me. I'll teach like whatever you want. But Jesse, like, you would tell me like, hey, put your heels down. To keep your feet from cutting off the pedals, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it's also putting your ego to the side and like, if you want to get better, then you have to listen.
Yeah, you have to listen. That's something. It's interesting, yeah, because the same kind of guys have helped me out too. You have helped me out too. It's funny when you think about it, right? It's like, man, yeah, we're professionally speaking, we got so much we do, and then you go into the mountain bike, and it's like, well, there's not much I know about this.
Right.
You see these dudes they're super cool at it, and they just can teach you little things. Ron, for example, is the one who got me finally unlock bunny hops, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to do it. I'm like, man, I'm messing up all the time. I was like, Ron, how do I actually get it? He's like showing me, and the way he showed me, that's where he clicked.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yes, it finally did, right? But at some point, I remember a couple of months before, he told me, hey, you got to do bunny hops, because I was doing the traditional American hop.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, you want to do the bunny hop, figure that out. And I was like, I'm going to try to figure it out. I never really practiced much. And then I built that bunny hop bar and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, you always have to find out. You always come to find out that you need help from others.
Right.
And there's people that can connect with you so nicely, too. Like, oh, that clicks with me. It happens to me. I'm an instructor, too, for IT stuff. And there's people that won't connect. And they won't connect with me. It's normal. It happens. There's instructors that will tell me something. I'm like, whoa, I can connect with you 100%. I've gone through training, and it's like this information simply don't go in my head.
Right.
I cannot understand any of it. There should be an expert to help me out. And that's usually what happens also, when you're in the professional life. It's like, yeah, you always want to delegate. You always want to work with someone that is an expert in certain areas. Mm-hmm. So it's not a struggle for you every single day. If you can learn it, certainly go for it. But I think there's a point you start understanding, well, if I delegate more, if I collaborate more, things just get better, overall. There's experts that can do things in different ways, and they could probably produce it faster than what you will do. Doesn't mean you cannot learn it. Doesn't mean you cannot do it. It's just simply that, hey, at some point, too, you got to figure out, maybe I just delegate certain things.
Right.
I want to get to the experts that, they went through this 20 times and know exactly how to do it. Versus me, I have to learn through it. If I definitely want to learn it, I'll sit down and put the time in,
Right.
That's the beauty of it, right? But yeah, no, dude, I'm with you 100%. I get it. I get what you've gone through for sure. We kind of all go through the same perspective, right? Not in a setup where you're like deployed away from your family or from your stuff, your regular day-to-day basis. But definitely there's a point that you kind of feel that same setup, and it's like, well, hang on, what do I do? There's guys that know way, way better than me a bunch of stuff. Perfect. That's what we pay them for. They should be helping out and collaborating with all of the colleagues around.
Right. And with that, it's kind of like to kind of circle back to like mountain biking. And I know you're kind of like tying the two together. But, what really helped me kind of go up to that next level was, even though I had some misconceptions about it before, it was racing. Like before, I didn't want to get into racing because I was like, I don't want to just start hating the sport. And I almost did because I was approaching it with the wrong attitude. I was trying to apply old way of thinking in the sense of competitive sports like football or baseball, where you just keep pushing and it's you like competition and it's like aggressiveness. But that usually either caused me to crash more because I was trying too hard on the races as opposed to kind of just relaxing and keeping it between the tape. So that humbled me a lot as well in that aspect. But with that, like, I know you kind of started racing as well. Mm-hmm. Like, what are I would imagine that some of the things that I'm talking about you've learned as well. Yeah. I mean, I did the same. I did baseball for so many years. I did boxing too. But I think actually boxing did help me out too. Actually, thinking about just getting humble, I think boxing did help me. I started there when I was, probably like 11 years old. Mm-hmm. I started boxing, and I was fighting with guys that were 17, 18-year-old. I'm just a kid, and these kids are hitting me hard, Yeah. So it humbles you down, too. Like, you feel like, oh, yeah, I can beat anyone. Oh, sure. Yeah. Bring this guy. Cool. Oh, my gosh, things change quickly. I think they're actually helping, too, with keeping that control. Breathing work. If I got my GoPro pretty close to my mouth, usually when I have it down here on the helmet, you can hear it when I'm hitting jumps or something. I'm like letting go, like breathing work. I do a lot of that. So I think, I went through that specific transition as well. I think,
it hasn't. I try to keep it safe. A lot of times, I think I got to push it a bit harder in some areas. I think if I do, I'll probably do better. I think that's what I'm going to try this year. But I'm making sure I'm learning the basics before. I'm making sure I'm working hard in cornering. I'm working hard in certain areas, and obviously I'm riding with faster riders. I'm riding you, Shock, freaking Gino. These guys are awesome. They can ride. They can rip, and obviously they're always learning too. Something you realize, right? You see them like, man, these guys are super advanced and they're so cool.
Right.
But at the same time, they also have struggles, and they're working. They're working as well. They're trying to make it better. But yeah, racing aspect. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. I think. On side jump on it, I'm very competitive as well. And obviously I'm an extrovert, right? I'm always talking to everybody, having fun. It's just, you never notice, right? But from that perspective, the way I see it is that I want to have fun. I want to get more people involved with it. If I share my energy and being so excited about, I think more people will be able to connect with me and say, well, I want to do racing. So for me, something I've been doing is reviewing where I started doing racing, right? All these initial races over, for example, there was Spider Mountain, the first downhill one I did. I did an XC race. I really didn't enjoy it much. I was too much pedaling, but I did it.
Right.
I ended up being the 13th out of 30 some people, or
that's pretty good,
40 people. So I was like, and I was on my enduro bike, no clips, no lycras. I was just, I was not in a good setup.
You're all baggy like a wind sail.
Oh my gosh, I was just sucking up air every single corner. I mean, it was terrible. But I think I tested. Oh, I was actually sick that day too.
Yeah,
I had I think it was allergies. Something happened to me. I was not definitely ready for it, and I just went for it. And since then, I've been hooked. I've been hooked. I mean, in racing, it's been pretty cool. I've been able to do what you just mentioned. There's things that people will tell you and they never click, and then you look at it, it's like, oh, now it finally clicks. Like for example, jumping. I'm working on that too, right? When you're working on that lip, how do I boost? Why do I need to keep my back tire going throughout the entire lip instead of just preloading so early and jumping over? I'm like, so that's the stuff I'm figuring out too. And now it's like, oh, it makes sense now. Now I'm getting it. But you asked me that. I mean, you tell me anything about that, and maybe a couple months back, no idea. Never. And
maybe there's something to that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like.
Yeah, let's go for it.
But like, maybe there's something to that, right? I was talking about earlier, like how pressure, time, and heat, right? So when racing, you have to. I mean, obviously, you're against your own clock. You're racing against yourself, and that's something, that bit of advice that. It'll come to me. Somebody told me at one of the races, like, hey man, you're just racing against yourself. And it clicked with me. It's like, that's right, I am racing. Because it's not like cross country where they release you all at once.
My gosh. Kind of hated that setup, I'll say. I liked our setup more. I mean, it depends.
Ricky Bobby.
Oh, yeah. So if we do party laps, it actually is pretty cool. You can get the fastest guy in the front. I've done it with Gino and all these guys, and it's really cool. You get a cool vibe, but you're not like, if I need to pass, they'll be like, hey, dude, pass me. Come on, pass me. They're gelling, right? XC was different. XC, I noticed that the culture was really cool, but when you're racing, man, these guys are like, I'm not going to let you pass. So I got a bit frustrated. I think I would have been probably in the top 5 even, because there was a major group in front of me and they won't let me pass. And I was like, I have no way to move around.
Right. And
I'm going down, right? I mean, that's my time to go down and go fast. I couldn't. So they will beat me on the ways up, but going down, I was just, a freaking enduro.
Yeah.
I just sending it down good. And obviously I knew the lines very well too in flat truck, so I like it big time there. So, but yeah, no, I mean, it's a different discipline for sure. You got to understand that. And again, there's no collaboration there for sure. It's more of a.
Did you do the cyclocross race?
I did too.
Okay.
Those were fun. And it's about the same setup. Oh, you did one of
them? Yeah, I did it on my hardtail.
I did the 3 of them, I believe. I did 3 of them.
I got pictures I'd never even posted, but like I'm just like with my fucking hand in my handlebars, dude. I was dying.
It was brutal.
And I thought it was going to be like, hey, you're going to do, I don't know, 7 laps and then whatever it was, right? Brutal. So I went into it. And then I got to my last lap, like, yeah, I'm done. They're like, keep going. I was like,
going,
what
man.
the fuck? Yeah, dude. So, I mean, but at the same time, it was an experience. I got a newfound appreciation for cyclocross.
Oh, absolutely.
Granted, I wasn't on the right bike. And then freaking Micah killed it, dude. I told Sandy, too. I was like, I got my money on him before the race started. The race.
The race. Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah. No, he's good, man. Actually, I want to connect with him and do some. We actually talk on DMs and stuff for training, but we haven't been able to connect. But I hope at some point we'll do.
Yeah, let me know, dude, once I'm better, because I've been wanting to ride with him as well.
Yeah, dude. Dude, his freaking crazy fast and his well skills. Yeah, no, it's awesome. Yeah, as I'm racing, I'm like, dude, it's just insane.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, when you go through the race, you understand how hard it is. Even though you're in almost flat stuff, it's just so hard.
Yeah.
I did it initially with my trail bike, and I did quite good, I'll say, with that. It didn't feel that bad. And then I went, it's like, I'm just going to do it with my enduro. Oh, my gosh. That was a bad idea. I was just suffering. I was miserable. But it was fun still, It was a good workout. I said like 35 minutes constant pedal.
Right.
That was quite a bit. That was definitely a lot of time. I never actually. I kind of experienced similar on XC. It's about the same, right? Because you're counting pretty much when you start and finish. It's not like enduro where we go stages and get them through, or downhill you get certain stages and get it done. You're going up doesn't count. Freaking XC, everything counts. So it's about 15 miles in an hour. So it's a lot. So if you look at a flat truck, you're pretty much going south loop up to the upper loop.
Got you.
So it's a lot of work. You hit map bummer even. You go canyon, but the other way around. So things could get kind of challenging. I actually had a bunch of appreciation for that discipline as well. I might do another one.
I was thinking about doing them just for training.
I think there's one in McAllister happening too. I think those are cool.
When is it though? Isn't it this weekend?
This weekend, and there's another one on the 24th.
Okay, maybe on the 24th. I won't be ready by then.
Same. I might do that. It's a bit more easier, but it still gets you in that zone of I need to push myself a bit harder and definitely pedal a lot more.
I might need to get some bars, like 600 bars or something, just to kind of get around people. Yeah, I look like a T-Rex on there. Like,
hey, let me pass. There's a lot of cool people. I did went through. I actually got to meet a lot of cool guys also from that. I connected with a bunch of people, but there was a few guys. I think like the older groups, they won't let you pass. I was like, dude, we're just having fun. But obviously, if I have better resistance or I'm faster than you in a downhill. The guys that were chasing me and they were pretty close to me. I'm like, you want to pass? Go for it. Feel free. I don't want to die here. I'm having fun. I want to push myself to my own limit, not because you're following me because I'm trying to follow you. I'm really, if I'm good at this section, I'm going to do it as best as I can. But there were sections I had to stop, man. Yeah. Like going in flat truck. Actually, it was in Canyon, that line. Well, I saw a bunch of people also try to pedal up, and it was so loose. I was like, I'm not going to even try.
Yeah.
I want to run up that thing. I was almost passing out.
Yeah, Canyon can get like moon dust.
My gosh, that was intense. I remember going up on it. It was a lot of work. I saw
even going down, like during the enduro, it was just like, it was so loose.
Yeah. It's a fun line. I actually like it going down.
No, I like it too, but I'm just saying.
It's sketch. Going up definitely was a good challenge. Then you kind of transition into Map Bummer and stuff. Map Bummer, I was like, dude, this is my line. Yeah. And there's where I get held. Everybody not letting me pass. I'm like, oh, dang. But overall, it was a fantastic experience. That was my first race, actually.
Nice.
And then I jump on the downhill. It's like, well, this is much better when I did the Spider ones. And then I jump on all the enduros. And they were awesome. So I didn't do the initial GOAT. That was 2021. I didn't do that race, so I think I was not ready mentally for it yet. And that day actually was terrible. I remember it was raining. A lot of people crashed. That was on Flat Truck. I remember seeing you guys racing out there. I was like, well, that's not my setup yet.
Right.
I want to hold up. Actually, I think my through axle also broke. So I'm like,
oh,
I have a better excuse to not go.
Too much torque.
I had. Well, it's just the QR configuration. Yeah. It just broke off. I was waiting for the replacement to come in and didn't come in time.
Got you.
I had my regular trail bike, but I was not confident.
Right.
I will make it out over there in Flat Truck with it. So, but yeah, no, man, it's fun. Racing has been absolutely good. I would say good experience overall. You learn how to push yourself. Also, you learn that you might think you're invincible, but there you actually get beat. You know, by yourself. Like it's nobody else. You're really just going up in something. You're like, man, I'm dying. This is intense. I've done 2 stages that I'm already done. What do I do? And I got 4 more to go. If we go to Reveille Peak, it's just intense, right? Same with the flat truck. We're freaking climbing for 5 hours and going down for 5 minutes. Right. Literally. 10 minutes at most. So, yeah, no, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of mental work as well, I think. More than the physical limits.
And I think that's what, I don't want to say everybody, but there's probably some people listening that don't know what enduro is. But in this, the transitions are the longest part. And you like, especially in Texas, like most of the downhills are like 2 minutes or so, maybe
at most. Yeah,
yeah, at most, and that's just the reality of our terrain. But like, it's one thing I love about Texas is it's like we talked about on that one ride. It's so loose and there's so much chunk, and I think we become. I feel like that's how we progress to be better riders. That and we can ride year round, so we can continually progressing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. We don't have to stop because there's snow or anything like that. Even when it rains, it's still kind of good.
Yeah,
unless it's super. I mean, a bunch of rain.
Yeah, and
we
then
have
you
to
have
stop
all
for a
the,
week.
and that's because it sucks. And also, like, even if they didn't want us to ride, I mean, even if they did allow us to ride, like I don't want to say they allow us, but you know, the trail etiquette, if you will. Like, so if we didn't mess up the trails, I still wouldn't ride because it's not even fun.
Yeah, yeah.
It just gets caked up on the bike.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's just like
we have an engine there. If it's a dirt bike, I'll probably do it. That's gonna be fun. But yeah, no, it's not a good setup. And plus, we have a bunch of rocks too. They get pretty slick.
Yeah,
it's pretty easy to get a spill and messed up your entire year.
I remember one time I had from a crash. I had bruised ribs, right? And we went out riding. It was me and my buddy James Stanley. I don't know if you ever rode him.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. And so we went riding, and he was like, "Hey, man, we should probably walk this part." But of course, you know, it's like, "Nah, I got it." And then as soon as it was the top of pipeline, I think, when you're about to go down to, I don't know if it's Evil Worm.
Oh yeah, Evil Worm. It gets pretty chunky. And
yeah.
Then,
so that middle part, he was like, "Hey, we should walk it," and I didn't, and my bike literally just like the two tires went out like to the left of me, and I just kind of landed right on my ribs, right on the rock. I was like, yeah. So I mean, a pain. Lessons learned. You know what I mean?
But, yeah, absolutely.
So what I know, like mountain biking is a huge outlet for you, or not just an outlet, but just something you love to do, a passion of yours.
Absolutely.
What are like I know you also like video edit and as well as photographer. You're starting to learn that. So
that's something that comes from. My gosh.
Is that something you picked up like during an injury? You're just like, hey, I'm going to start?
No, that's been something I've had since pretty much I had my first smartphone. Photography for me has always been a passion. I just never like really explore it, let's say. When I started mountain biking, I also started my channel of photos. So I had that Texas Epic Pixels, whatever it is. And every time I was traveling, I take a bunch of photos. I got drones. I've had pretty much all the drones out there, the GoPro drone, all the way out to all the DAIs. So it's been always a passion for me, but I never share it out there publicly, right?
Got you.
It's like I love this, I want to create, and I guess my main mentor was Casey Neistat. I mean, I watched that dude when he just started doing YouTube, and all the growth he became a millionaire basically, and everybody's copying that dude pretty much. You know, you see people blogging and they tap on the camera. That's Casey Neistat. You know, this dude he was so creative. He's still so creative. I watched him a lot, so I learned a lot from that dude. I think majority of the stuff that I grab is like, oh, I got pumped. You know, he has, this is a new product. I'm going to test it out. And he put it out there. It's like, you see the videos, you're like, I want to do that. You know, I go and travel, right?
I haven't even seen his stuff.
Oh, dude, he's fantastic. That's, for me, at least for me, right? I can connect with that dude so good. He was doing daily vlogging as well. It was pretty harsh for him, and he talks about it. But when he did that, he was able to prove, like, hey, if you combine that passion with discipline, you can achieve great things. You don't have to be good at it. Just do it. Just make it happen every day. And you'll notice when you, for example, when you're filming, same with gym, you know, progress, right? And riding. When you see yourself 6 months ago and you see yourself now, it's like, oh my gosh, I gotten faster. I can clear things that I couldn't clear. I'm moving the bike more. I'm doing this better. You just get to pick up so many things like, oh wow, there's a lot of progression happening. And sometimes we don't get to appreciate that if you don't see it on a video. That's what the main reason I film everything. Right.
And then you bring up a good point. So obviously the one that you put the discipline and the passion together, those will create like something, you know, beneficial for you for progression. But with that, it was like, I don't want to say never. It's rare that I ever have third party or third person view footage. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the third person view. And I'm like really eager to see like the progression as far as me in Bentonville. Like I know I hit stuff that I never imagined that I would ever do, and there were like huge tables.
Yep.
So with that,
it'll look like, but they were.
Yeah,
the story's high, freaking thing.
Yeah, and I was very surprised at that. But with that, it's when I kind of first started like making videos like on YouTube or what have you, and, like I still enjoy the video editing process, but I didn't like the output that I had to do to be successful on YouTube. You know what I mean? Because I like to take my time with it. I like the ideas to kind of evolve naturally, and then I can throw it together. But with that, I was able to pick up one of those things, like, or not one of those things. I was able to see, even if it's like first person footage, like the speed I'm going, or like the way I'm flowing through chunk or whatever, and you can tell those things. But even more so, that's one of the things I learned when you took that video of me. It's like a short clip, but I'm doing that small little roller or whatever, but I'm kind of just going into it.
That's the one over Huntley?
Yeah, at Huntley.
Oh, that was not a small roller. That thing was like 20-foot table. That thing was huge. It just looks small.
Dude, it looked little. It looked little.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, look at the baby roller.
Yeah. No, I was like 100. I think it was like 100 mil zoomed into you, so it's all cropped in. So you see like everything is like super tiny, but dude, that thing is huge. I couldn't even clear it that day. Well, I was also not trying that hard. I think on the trip I took it easy. You know, being the media guy, I wanted to make sure that I was still good all the time around and not get hurt overall. But yeah, dude, that was a good table. That was a good sizing table. I mean, the first one was like probably like a 15-footer because I actually went over with the bike. So I could see one bike and a half in transition. We got 2 bikes and probably a little bit more. So, you know, you can get that measurement going on. And that was pretty huge. And you were clearing it like nothing, like butter.
Yeah.
So you were like...
And I was trying to work on... I've been working on scrubbing, you know.
That was pretty sick, yeah.
So, yeah, but like... So, to that point is like, you don't understand, like... Not you don't understand, but in general, people don't understand, like, how much you progress, especially, like, if, you know, you don't have that third-person footage. So, that it helps, not in the sense of being, like, narcissistic with it, but more so like being aware, like, you know, you could use that as for skill progression, like, because I there have been times where I'm like, I look back at video, even in first person view, I'm like, oh man, I took the wrong line, or I should have done this better. But it's like learning, like you're kind of looking like kind of like they do in football, where you look like play-by-play footage, figure out what you did wrong, and then go back and correct it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's the same with anything you want to do, even with I mean, everything overall when you think about it. But yeah, no, I think that third person kind of perspective, I always liked it. Like, I always like to see myself, oh, dang, I'm messing up. That's why you see me with all the GoPros. I got 3 of them, right? I'm like, set it up here, set it up there, set up the other one. Again, I got the big camera. I'm going to set it up somewhere else so I can get all the perspectives. And then I see, like, damn, I was so slow there. I was holding up too much brake. I want to get, you know, you be yourself also a lot of times, but then when you look at an older video, you're like, oh, dang, I'm doing way better. You know, it's like, oh, no, I mean, this is a lot of progression for sure.
Right. So speaking of progression, like what are, I know you're kind of pressed for time, but with that, like, what are some of the things you've kind of, like, lessons learned from being on social media or what have you? Like, is there any thing that you kind of figured out as far as like the algorithm goes, or like how do you keep track of like the changes and all that stuff?
Yeah, so primarily, well, being active on the platform, that's the first thing. Obviously there's certain I will call creators out there that they're creating a lot of content, and you're like, man, I kind of like, you know, the music they're using, the audios. So basically figuring out the algorithm and is understanding what Microsoft, look at me, I'm always thinking about Microsoft stuff. I guess I teach about that a lot. But if you think about Instagram and how the algorithm works, where they want to keep the users within their platform, right? It's same as TikTok, same as YouTube. If a user is watching your video and it takes off and it leaves the app, man, that's bad for you. So that video is not going to get the same rating as the video that engagement.
Like, what do you mean, like, if it takes off?
So if you go off to a different app, so let's say you're watching a video, it's like, all right, fine, and you go to watch somewhere else and you went completely off the app, you close the app, that's super bad for your video. So it's finding the sweet spot where it's like understanding you want to create shorter things potentially if it's something you want to show, like writing videos. Maybe you want to show the actual race line.
Right.
Those are pretty solid because whoever wants to watch that, they'll look for it. But when you're looking at content that that actually is reaching more audience, you want to be looking at, okay, do I want to create content that is more, more specific, more direct to the point, rather than going around? So. There's a lot to it. The algorithm actually changes a lot. I try to keep up basically with people that post it out. I try to read on it when they release new features and stuff. I'm always try to keep on what's going on there. I know they're coming out with subscriptions now. There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that they have. And as you have your creator pages too, they open up different areas for you to explore so you can see what's coming up. And also following the creators page that they have. They post a lot of stuff there, but I think I've been kind of, well, it's funny because you might figure out some things out and they kind of work from one video or 2 videos or 3 videos maybe. And then the fourth one is like, trash,
Yeah.
that didn't work. So it's a constant learning for sure. So figuring out is primarily being unique, being you, being very, just being you. Don't copy what everybody else is doing. You can use the same audio. It's totally fine. The audios are trending. That helps. That actually helps on the content perspective where it's like, oh, that's a hook. But if your video is trash, people will just skip it, right?
Right.
It's something to where you can connect with your audience. And that's something that I've found with a lot of, for example, vendors out there that want to sponsor and they want to work with me and I want to be an ambassador. It's like, if I don't trust the product, I cannot sell it. And that's not that I'm going to try to sell it. I'm going to utilize it.
Right.
And if I don't like it, I'm not going to use it. So you want me to tell that to the audience or you want me to not say it, right? So when I'm working with product, it's like, that's what I put a lot of stuff with MacBed. It's like, dude, I'm pretty happy with them. I started using them out. It's like, dang, that thing's working out pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's not because, I'm an ambassador. No. It's because I really like them. It's like, I'm passionate about technology. I'm passionate about new stuff. And I think that's a great invention out there.
I like MagPeds. Granted, I don't have anything to compare it to because I haven't ridden any other magnetic pedals. I have heard some things about Hustle bikes where the axles are breaking. Whether or not they fix it, I'm pretty sure they have.
Yeah, it happens, right? With all of them, they'll always have certain factory issues. It's normal.
Right.
It's normal. I have actually tried clips as well. And they're sketchy, man. I tried the Crown Brothers. They're pretty easy to go in and out. I got the candies are more like the egg beaters only. So you can clip in clipping in for me is still not as easy. I think obviously that comes in with a lot of practice. But when you have magnets, it's so hard because I'm like, man, why do I have to learn something new when I literally just place my foot on pedal, disconnect, go, bye, see you later, versus, oh gosh, I got to go in like this, I got to go out like that. There's a lot to think about. I've actually tried. I actually try to be fair on comparisons. It's like, I know the adaptation for a clip, it's a lot of work compared to if you actually try magnetics. I know most of the guys that try, they're riding on clips. If they at some point in between that transition from flats to clips, if they were to test out anything magnetic, they'll be like, no, I'm never moving up there. I'm going to stay down here because it's the best of both worlds, really, when you think about.
Yeah, I've heard it's easy. Like I've heard for some people, not a lot of people, but people that are coming from flats to magnetics is easier transition than. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, absolutely. From if they're already in clips, they're fine.
Yeah,
they don't have to come out of them. Now, I've seen guys, actually, the reason why I got MacBeds also is that I was thinking about getting clips. And I was like, because a buddy of mine, he has them. He's like, yeah, get clip, you get better. It's like, maybe I try at some point, but I feel pretty confident with my flats. Obviously, I was not doing raising that. So when you start raising, that's where you figure, oh my gosh, my feet are completely off the place. And, I don't want to be worrying about my feet. I want to be able to pedal as much as I can. Even if I pedal strike, I can plug it back in and go.
Right.
I saw a guy that crashed really bad on clips, and actually was on flat truck, and he had MacBeds, but he crashed on clips, and what was it that happened?
You said he had MagPeds on?
No, he had MacBeds that day that I met him. He was a firefighter. He lost one of his lungs. Actually, he had a major crash, man, with clips because he was not able to unclip. And since then, he switched over to MacBeds.
Oh, okay, I'm tracking now. Okay, I thought you were saying that he was on MagPeds and then he crashed with
when I met him, he had MacBeds, and that's why I got to learn those pedals. I already looked at magnetic stuff, but I never really, that's right, I don't want them, whatever. But when I saw that guy, I talked to him, it's like, how did it actually work? And he showed me, I'm like, dude, this is what I want.
After this, let's talk a little bit. I know you got to go, but there's something I want to ask you about for a friend, because we have obviously the Dirt Therapy Project. We're reaching out to veterans. Some of them are amputees, and they want to get into mountain biking, and we feel like that's the best, not the best, but one of the ways to kind of, because that's one of the problems that some of the people that are amputees, to having their feet on the pedal.
Yeah.
And clips are like, they're too solid.
Yeah, they're too much.
And then obviously flats, they just pop off.
I've seen that. Yeah, so, that's a good solution there for sure. Yeah.
Let's talk afterwards. Having said all that, so the MagPeds, I think the only reason I lost a foot, because I do lose feet, not lose feet, but at the Spider Race, the third one, I did I think we did the same line.
Yeah, was it
were you there? Were you there for those?
Yeah, that was the
that's right.
stick Iggy. Yeah,
we were doing stick Iggy. So in the waterfall, I lost the pedal.
There's sometimes, yeah, you can definitely lose it. Yeah,
but I think what it was is that one of the magnets was working its way loose, and I didn't realize it was squeaking. And I didn't know why it was squeaking. I thought it was like the axle. I was like, man, I need to take them apart, and I get it. But it's a race. But then I don't know. Fast forward, me just being, procrastinating. I was riding. Luckily, this was right before Bentonville. Me and Sandy were riding at OCG, and the freaking or local trail system, and the freaking. I looked down, and it was coming off. It was like knocking around. I was like, oh my God. And it was the one day I didn't bring my tool.
Oh, dang. So then you're like, oh my gosh, I think it's loose. I cannot ride.
And then I tried to go to the trailhead and somebody ripped the tools off. So I was just like, oh my God. But luckily I found some in the parking lot.
It didn't happen that bad to me, but it did happen. I felt it like clicking. I'm like, what's going on? And then I checked it out. I was like, oh, okay. I actually reached out to them and tell them, hey, you got to probably loop some Loctite or anything down there. So the the other pair I got, and then it had any issues. It hasn't got loosened at all, so it's been solid.
Nice.
But I still check it out. Before I do a race, just make sure of that. Obviously, it's a screw out there. It's vibration, all this stuff will affect it. So,
that's anything. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Put some Loctite. Obviously, is another part to pay attention to, but it hasn't been the problem for me. Every time I'm connecting, I'm plugged in. I think my favorite shoes for sure has been the Crank Brother mallets. They are freaking awesome. The enduro shoes, they're kind of they're just plug in and they connect so good over the pedal that I feel like they're hugging that pedal and the magnet, so I can just go down super confident that thing's not going to come off. Well, and they usually don't.
Yeah, no, I that makes sense. But like, out of all the things you've product tested, like, what are some of the things that you've would recommend to people based off of the stuff you tested so far?
Pretty much everything I'm using, really. Overall,
so the mag
pedals, ODI grips, man, they've been great.
The what?
The ODI grips.
Oh, nice.
They've been fantastic. Dude, I had air guns all over.
You're talking about the ones I recommended for you?
As well. Yeah. Those, every time, anybody asks me, get those things. They're awesome. They're way better than any other I've tried, for sure. Anything else? I'll say equipment, too. So I went with the Liat sponsorship program, and I think I've been enjoying it big time because they actually, first, I like the message behind what they do, but also I like the products where they're easier for us. If you see this full face, they have that detachable shin bar, and it's like, man, I need something that I can convert, because there's sometimes I just want to go for a warm-up lap. I'm not going to full send anything. I just don't want to feel like I'm completely locked up, right?
Right.
And just having that, sometimes I take it with my backpack. And I take it up there, take it with me, and it's like, all right, this is the time I need to put it on. I feel warmed up.
Does that helmet squeak with the...
Not at all.
Because I know the Bell Super Air, I got that for that very reason. And when I have my GoPro on it, you hear the squeaking.
Gotcha. No, it hasn't been a problem for me. I do have it on the forehead over here, connected up. But I haven't had that issue with it. It's pretty solid so far. Yeah. And it's pretty light, too. And quite open, so you got
what helmet is that?
That's the Liat Enduro. I don't know a specific.
Is there a crash replacement with that? Do they have a crash replacement program?
I don't think they. I think they do offer one, but I haven't gotten. Yeah, so it's like
I ask because I go through helmets pretty frequently. Unfortunately,
it's like, if you pay $200, we'll cover the next helmet. I need the same price.
That's something I need to start seeking is some type of helmet sponsorship or something. At the very least, a tester for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of companies out there that will be absolutely willing to get riders. I think that's something I noticed too. And that's something I try not to do. A lot of influencers or mountain biking bros that are really good and they're big on their channels, they offer a lot of times. I just don't see it ethical when I feel like something is not good and you keep selling it. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
I know a lot of products are trash and they just keep pushing them out. And I'm like, I will never recommend something as bad. So for me, anything I test, I'm really testing through it big time. Right. I mean, I broke my shoes already big time. I love the Crank Brother mallets, but they usually last me for 6 months of riding. But obviously, I'm riding a lot. Right? They could last me probably 8 months, but I'm just, man, I'm terrible at those things. I'm not being careful with them.
When you say you break, you're talking about like where the
ripping
plate,
off the sole out of it pretty much.
You.
The plate stays there.
Yeah.
It's connected. I'm messing up the entire shoe. So
wow.
I'm like the Flintstones, is it? Whatever it is. All the
where you're putting your feet down to stop. Yeah.
Well, I'm just not being careful with it, but it should be for that. You should be like just use it for that purpose. So anything I really use a lot is just primarily, I'll definitely let people know, hey, I like it. But I've actually gone through it, and I've tried to break that thing, and it's still good.
Yeah.
That's what I went with the Hydra. I broke my XT hub 3 times. And I was like, man, I'm tired of this.
Right.
It's just too much. And people are like, yeah, get this one, get the other one, get the Hope, I'm like, what's the one that usually don't have any problems that you, and Creature's like, dude, get the Hydra. That's not gonna probably break that easily.
Right.
And if it does, man, bring it back. We'll replace it.
Right.
So at the time, it's like, yeah, let's go for something that I won't have to worry about.
The one thing I want to go to, speaking of hubs, is the Onyx.
Yeah. I just like the loud.
No, I get it. Yeah.
But the Onyx are they're interesting
because they seem more robust. Mm-hmm. And then like even when I went to the bike school, they talked about that, like the mechanics of it and what have you. And they just seemed like there's less things that could break. I could be wrong. Like
absolutely.
I'm pretty sure like every product has its, like it's I don't know, pitfalls or what have you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, I like just want to try like something different, But what really kind of turned me over to those was Gilbert Tavares.
Oh yeah.
He was riding them. He was like, "You want to ride my bike?" And so I rode it, and because I noticed that when we were just coasting, he was just passing me, and I was pedaling. I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I rode his bike. Yeah, and it just seemed like it was like a pedal assist bike, dude. It almost felt like an e-bike, and I was like, this is bullshit. I mean, granted they're heavy.
Yeah.
But then the weight is right in the center of the hub, so it's like equally displaced, I guess.
That's interesting.
So it's something to consider. And then an added benefit. Granted, this isn't a performance thing, but they could put your logo on there free of charge.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know if they're still doing that, but they're laser engraved.
They laser engrave it as well. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and then the other thing is I want to make my bike mullet. So
yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I was thinking of doing that with my Enduro, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't know what's going to be the future of that. Maybe I'll probably sell it, get another one. There's a couple of brands I've been looking at and eyeballing and kind of see, probably have a good support from them too. Be able to test bikes and stuff. Right now, that's my focus, creating the content. It's been like more testing out things. At some point, I was like, I'm going to make some review videos, but I was not ready. I think when you don't feel ready, a lot of times it's like, I need to work in certain areas, and I'll feel more confident. A lot of times you want to go and send it, right? It's normal. But there's a lot of times if you take the time to train and just put a little bit of dedication, it'll be a different world. I mean, it'll be a different experience for sure.
That's the one thing I was thinking too, because I've gone through a lot of products, like from when I started riding to now, and I've gone through like elbow pads and knee pads and all kinds of different stuff, helmets, shit ton of helmets. But with that, I'm obviously, and that seems not for like the content, but it would be beneficial to kind of put this information out there to help people make a better choice, save them some money. But with that is like, I have all these products that I could use as, test cases or what have you, and then put that out there to the whoever. But the same thing. It felt almost forced. And
yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to find there. Yeah, I don't want to do it like, I want to talk about this. Actually, I want to experience it. I want to make sure I have a good understanding how it works, and if it breaks on me, I can definitely talk about it and then say, okay. And if it didn't, it's like, man, this is good. This is actually pretty solid. It's same deal, man. I've gone through a bunch of products as well, and it's like same with tires. I'm in love with Michelin right now. It's interesting.
Dude, I still haven't tried those yet.
Dude, unless you try them, you probably won't back to anything else. It's been pretty interesting. I know Gino actually. He got onto it as well, and he loved them. I think he switched over to Continental now.
Yeah.
I think. But we'll see what goes with there. I think every other company, I guess we had a major brand, which is Maxxis, right, being out there, the big leader. But I think other companies were doing so much better, and they just got better compounds. Obviously, Michelin has been out there in the field for a long time. But so far, they were cheap, but also impressively good.
Right.
So to the point, you cannot even find them. Like they don't have anything in stock. You have to find them from the UK, from weird places.
I mean, that's probably a supply issue, but that's also probably a demand issue as well.
It's a demand issue. Yeah, if you see most of the World Cup, Enduro, and downhill, they're using Michelins. I'm like, are they actually a sponsor? What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? I know a lot of times they do have a sponsorship, but a lot of times it's discounts. It's
Right.
not like full time, full blown. Sponsorship. So. Yeah, a lot of people have said good things, and when I try them, dude, it was like, man, this is cool. I got
Right.
the Wild AMs now, the All Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
They're not Enduro, but they feel more. I would say they feel better than the Enduros.
Like in the sense of like, is it like a thicker casing or
I
a
believe,
thinner
yeah,
casing?
they feel with that thicker casing, but they don't feel heavy.
Right.
They feel they roll pretty fast as well.
Mm-hmm.
But on cornering and going over the chunk, they just grip so much better. I mean, even try to roost stuff. When you're roosting, it's like, whoa, be careful, because it can
Yeah.
actually grip, and
Yeah.
whoops, you can go. So it happened to me actually in Bentonville.
Yeah.
I noticed on
there
the
it's
stuff.
also a little bit more
Yeah, it's
manicured.
different.
And
Yeah,
stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was wet, and I was like, this thing's not actually sliding as much.
Right.
And on the Enduros, I will feel, here and there, certain areas. But overall, they're pretty good tires. I like them. But again, I'm not married to any product. I just
Right.
like it, and I use it. It's like GoPros. I like GoPros, but if there's something else, the AI comes out with something really cool, which they
Right.
have, I might just try it out. I don't care. For
Right.
me, it's just, all right, let's use something that I can definitely test out, and hopefully becomes the tool that I use all the time.
Right. Nice. So with that, like, what's next for you? Like, what are you working on?
Pretty much right now, it's just focusing on that Enduro Cup with Tin Throw Potty. I want to make sure I get pretty solid race. I'm gonna try to do all the races.
Yeah, I'm also gonna try to do that.
There we go. There we go. So my goal there is really to train, just get the I guess the fears out, mostly with jumping. I think jump is not a bad. I love jumping. It's just obviously having a crash and a big jump is kind of get that PTSD going. It's like, oh man, I don't want to mess it up.
Right.
I've learned, I've hit big things now, and I've been getting way better. I'm going to practice so much more RPR. I can clear pretty much everything Spider now. I've been practicing tons there. So for me, definitely letting go my brakes a bit more. I guess everybody suffers from it. At some point, you really feel like, oh man, I should have gone faster there. I should have pushed harder. I think this year is going to be way better for me on that perspective, which I'm training harder on it, making sure I got good endurance, good stability workouts that I'm adding in to help out. So most of the workouts I'm posting out there, they're focusing on pretty much that strength / balance training. So where you're like stability, you're
unilateral training.
Absolutely,
like,
unilateral training, because that's what we pretty much do.
Right.
We're moving our bike so hard, but also those. Oh my gosh, it's like the powerlifting. I'm not doing powerlifting per se, but when I jump on the tire, when you're flipping it, you're working on that explosive workout. So that's something I'm working too, because that's something we do.
Right.
There's certain areas you want to sprint. So I'm working with that big time. So I hope, this year my plan is going to be to do as best as I can on racing, keep improving with the media, definitely keep adding good content out there. For me, my goal is not even, if I reach whatever amount of followers, I don't really mind. I'm not really looking at a number. I'm looking at how many people I can actually impact and influence into having a better life, really, having to ride out there, having fun. That's my goal. When I post workout, a lot of times I didn't want to post on my workouts. And it's like, dude, I'm doing it every single day. It could be raining. I could have back pain. I could be sick. I'll be at the gym. Doesn't matter. That's been me for 8 years now, potentially. No, 7 years. Around 7 years, I've been like that. I haven't stopped. And I just keep going. I get hurt. I get foot poison, whatever. Get down for a couple of days and come back in stronger. So for me, I'm very disciplined at that. So I think I like to kind of expose it out there, but I don't want to be cocky or anything like that. I want to be like,
there's that balance, right?
Absolutely. I want to kind of post out certain workouts and certain movements I'm doing, exercises and stuff. But I want to put it where everything is about workout. No,
right.
I work out every day. I try to keep it active, but it's up to you. You want to work out on bikes specifically. I'm just trying to get your motivation out there, really,
right,
and help you out.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. But that's one of the things I love about this podcast is one, it's long form. You can kind of see who a person is through conversation. I mean, granted, some people kind of keep the persona, but I've met you and I've talked to you before, in and out and what have you, and you're just a good dude. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on. And plus, we're kind of similar thought processes and stuff like that, trying to get better. But with that, yeah, man, I appreciate what you're doing. I wish you all the best going forward. Obviously, we'll probably definitely do some writing together. I'll try to teach you whatever I can.
Definitely.
And then vice versa. You can teach me some stuff too. But that's what it is really just trying to grow this community and try to benefit others. And that's my goal as well on social media is I also struggle with that balance, right? Should I post this? Am I posting this too much? Because I don't want to come off like I'm all ego or like trying to get some type of, oh, look at me. But it's at the same time, it's like, no, I love creating the content. I love, being creative, using different music, different whatever. But it's like trying to do my own thing right now, be like other people. But at the same time, you can't help but be influenced by others in one way or another.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on. Where can people find you?
Epic MTB SATX, all the platforms.
Okay.
We're pretty active. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Well, Facebook, I don't touch it much.
Yeah,
Everything goes automatically there. A lot of people say, I'm on Facebook. It's like, my gosh, I wish I had more active.
Yeah.
I'd be more active on Facebook. YouTube as well. I'm more, again, Instagram is a huge platform, and I've been dedicated to it big time, and TikTok as well. My growth there has been really good, so my dedication has been there, and hopeful to at some point, get a business out of it at some point. But I'm not looking at it as a business. I'm looking at it as having fun, and at some point, something like that gets developed.
Right.
Absolutely. And it will be primarily, to help out and trail building, help out, which is something I do. I try to go in the trails also, help in anything I probably earn from that and just put it in. But also, working out, helping out with other riders as well. So the goal is to just keep the community expanding,
right.
Get people excited, hopefully getting more people to ride and have fun, and also do it in a safe way where they can figure out things and learn and not crash so quickly that they cannot actually do anything else. I've heard stories that they go out for the first time, they shoot the moon, and they're out forever. It's like, no, I'm not going to do it. They're off the biking for a long time. It's like, that's not something I want for people. I think progression is something I'm looking for. I think, we got plenty. We got plenty to do in San Antonio, overall Texas. There's so much to do.
And the sport is growing exponentially.
It's insane. When you look at, I think, when you look at the pandemic, a lot of people are like, that was so terrible, and I believe, it was a terrible thing to happen for sure. But I think if you didn't utilize that time to work on yourself, you really wasted a year of turning yourself into a beast.
Right.
For me, it was like, and a lot of people didn't take it that way for sure, and a lot of people couldn't. They were probably working, and I appreciate whoever was working hard and try to help out through the entire thing. But for me, I looked at it as like, I need to be stronger. Right. I need to be healthier.
That's one thing that highlighted was like to take care of yourself.
Absolutely, and going out on the bikes, man. Pandemic. I don't care about the virus. I'm concerned about that jump. I'm concerned about that jump. I was literally going out almost every single day,
and because that was one of the things that still stayed open.
Yeah, I was so happy that happened because you can just go through the trail and have fun.
And there was nobody there, which I loved about it. And we're trying to get people out riding, but at the same time, it was like, hey, man, I appreciate it.
You haven't had any problems this week? No, I haven't been sick, but dang, somebody got sick. Be careful. I'm like, oh, my gosh. But I really never got worried about it. I do believe in my body a lot. I do trust my immune system big time. And I don't think, I think if you take care of yourself, it's harder for you to be scared of viruses. Overall, they exist everywhere. Diseases are happening all over. We're pretty much piece of disease on this earth. I mean, we're messing up the earth as well. So when you think about, if you take care of your body as much as you can, you don't have to be a gym rat.
Yeah,
you just
that's one less thing you have to worry about because your body does have an immune system.
Absolutely. I mean, I bet I've had the virus a couple of times, but I just work out through it and just make sure I keep active. It'll take me down. And
knock on wood, I've been sick a couple of times, but I haven't gotten it. And there was even a point, and we don't have to end on this, but there was a point where I was like, all right, I just want to get it already. Just fucking get it over with. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I was the same. I think I got it, but again, it probably could be a cold. I never got tested, so I was not required to test even. I'm like, well, I'll be all right. Yeah. So doing a bunch of natural shots for sure, like ginger shots, pretty much, anything. Probiotics big time. Actually, when I stopped eating probiotics, I actually use and that's something that I need to probably order a new one is the greens. I feel when I don't use greens in the morning, there's actually a little shake, and they actually taste pretty good. There's all the ones that taste kind of bad, but the one, I'll send it to you. I'm not going to say the name because they're not paid a sponsor of the channel, right? But they're pretty solid. You feel energy levels are higher. You don't feel that bloatedness. Sometimes you feel bloated. It's like, oh my gosh, what's going on?
Right.
But anyhow, taking care of yourself overall, figuring out what you can push yourself to do, what limit, it's actually great. Figuring out yourself overall is absolutely something that everybody needs to explore, needs to do.
Right.
And definitely, man, I don't want to be spending so much time on drugs and pills just to keep myself going. It's like, no, I want to be able to instead go for a good bike ride like Jimmy he does over there in Flat Truck. You see this dude 60 plus and he's riding bikes and I cannot even catch up to him.
He's older than 60, I think.
Oh my God. But it's like, I'll probably get into the 70s now.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I cannot catch up with this guy. Like,
dude,
his
mom like walks out there. She's like 90 something.
Oh
she
my
goes out
gosh.
with a walker and walks the trails, dude.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's
I mean, sometimes I have to go pick her up, but that's not my point. My point is she's still out there moving.
She's just still out there moving.
If I'm like 90 and I can still do that, hell yeah.
I think that's the goal. That's the goal, to
Right.
keep active as much as you can. And I mean, just again, be happy with your body. It doesn't matter how it looks, whatever. You can work on whatever aesthetics. I mean, you can definitely work on that. But overall, it's how you feel.
Right.
I think if you feel good, you can spread that good vibe, that good love out there. If you don't feel good, you simply will be trashing around and just thinking life is horrible and you're miserable.
Right.
That I see that a lot, and I really don't appreciate it, as I know that you can simply just turn that, just shift it off, and you just get better every day.
Yeah, focus more on quality of life as opposed, because do you want to live to 90 and be like, immobile, sedentary, or do you want to be 90 and still be able to move active?
I don't want to get to my 60s and be on a couch and I cannot move. That was unfortunately my grandpa, for example. He passed away when he was like 62, 64.
Oh,
he retired. This dude survived military. He was a police officer for so many years. He was in high rank. And the dude was super active all the time. And he retired. And he sat down. And he literally passed away in like 2 years.
Damn.
He went like, I'm just going to die. I'm ready. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Man, you could just go travel. You can do so many things, right? You're still young. I mean, you're 60 plus. You're still able to move around and do stuff. I remember, it's just, I see that stuff for me. It's like, now that's not something I want to do. That's something I definitely want to avoid. And I think we can avoid that by continuing to be active and working on ourselves.
Doing things that, exactly your point, but to add to your point, is doing things that make you feel young. Like riding a bike.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I feel like a kid all the time.
Yeah,
man.
me too.
We're out there, it's like, yeah, let's do it.
I mean, you hear us like, we're like, oh, shit. You know what I mean?
Dude, every time I ride it with you, I'm always cracking up because I can hear you yelling. I remember that line we did at Parkwood. It's like, it's pretty loose there. Be careful. You're like, oh my gosh. And I'm just, you can hear the video. It's just so much fun.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. That was a blast.
But that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's about. Going out, having a good time. It's not always like sending stuff. It's just getting outside, getting the trails, exploring, getting that forward momentum, getting the vitamin D, the cardio, your heart rate up, putting the stress on your body,
connecting with nature.
Yeah, and then being around good, like-minded people that that infectious, positive energy spread.
Absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't matter what's happening in your day. If you go for a bike ride, you'll be happier that day, unless you crash. I mean, man, maybe then you will be pretty sad. Yeah, but I don't think you will be actually upset. You might be upset at yourself.
But even then, even after this last crash, man, there's an opportunity to make like the most of it, the best of it, and I saw that. I mean, a lot of things. When I shifted my focus and I accepted the idea that it happened, and I shifted my focus to, all right, now it's time to recovery. And then that opened up doors for me that I didn't think I didn't even see coming. But it's because I wasn't like in my own pity and my own self-despair and stuff. And I think that resonated with some of the people around me, especially some of the people I just met, which kind of, I'll dovetail it into, the podcast that was posted today with Medevac Podcast. I don't think that would have happened if I didn't shift the way I was thinking and the way I processed that.
That's the beauty of it, right? When you can recognize that and see, oh gosh,
right, and not be fake about it, but be genuine about it.
Absolutely, yeah. Actually going through it, it's like, well, I mean, it happened.
Right.
You have to figure it out now. I have to figure out something else. While I get recovered. Gladly, you're good. Gladly was just that. A lot of people. I remember, what was it, last year when you had that crash over Flat Creek? Was it Flat Creek?
I broke my hand.
It was 2020.
Yeah,
I think it was 2020. Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of bad. I saw that video. I'm like, man, I'm not sending those doubles.
Yeah,
when I went through, it was like, and actually went through them. It's like, oh my gosh, this is actually pretty intense, right? There's some areas that if you messed up, you're out. And Yeah, no, dude, I get appreciation when I go to the trails and after watching your videos, it's like, oh my gosh, wait,
Yeah.
Simon was freaking sending it. This is
Yeah.
actually pretty solid out here. Everything looks small on cameras, but
Yeah.
when you go in person, it's like, oh man, that's actually pretty intense. So, no, yeah, definitely having that good attitude and coming back stronger. It's just, it's something that I guess as strong people with strong mental. I guess I don't know how to
Like
put it out
fortitude.
there, but yeah, absolutely have that good attitude where you're like, yeah, I want to make it. I want to
Yeah.
definitely get better. I'll come out of this for sure.
Yeah.
You're down, but you'll come out of it for sure. You're not going to be miserable all the time. You feel pain. I've raced with pain. Last actually was what was it? The only time I haven't raced with pain on my back was flat truck,
Okay.
the Saturn Enduro. That's
Gotcha.
the only time. It was cold though. That day was chilly. I remember that was
so
crazy.
Your back, you probably couldn't even feel your back.
Yeah, there was my feet, everything. My toes were completely frozen. Everything was so messed up. But before that, I was riding with pain, and it's like for me, I think what shift over finally was like, okay, I need to work out and strengthen those areas that are weak, that are making me get hurt.
That's good. It's good you learn from it and you're making the changes. Like as most people that progress and like want to get better do, they learn from their mistakes and then they get better. But with that, I know you got pressed for time, but
yeah, man,
I appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you,
maybe
man.
Next
Absolutely.
time we could carve out more time and we'll get into some other subjects and stuff like that. But
yeah,
man.
We'll see if we got the Angel Fire trip or something like that, and we'll do a remote podcast out there too. That could be cool.
That would be cool. We'll get a nice background set up. I know I still want to do something like we talked about doing in Bentonville with Jonathan and sit down and do something like that.
Yeah.
I know I've been trying to have him on, but he's so fucking busy. It's ridiculous.
I know.
But
He has a bunch of stuff going on.
yeah,
for sure.
it's all good things though. But in the
Yeah.
sense like that's one thing I learned is not force anything.
Oh yeah, let it happen, let it flow. Things will
let it
happen.
flow.
They'll come in at a point. It's like, well, yep, this is the time. It'll happen. Yeah, man. No, we'll connect up for sure.
Yeah,
we'll get
definitely,
some
man.
good riding out there for sure. And yeah, man. Right now, I'm just pretty much working on all the Benjamin content. There's been a lot. It was a lot. So obviously, shooting a lot of 360 footage was a lot. So I'm trying to now working out. Make sure I connect all the dots with 360s, drone, big cameras, all the other cameras. It's quite a bit of work, but I'm enjoying the process. It's like refreshing all the memories. I want to make it short, simple, and cool, but at the same time, there's a lot of things to show. So
right. And I definitely so you're going to be working on that, and I really appreciate everything you're doing with that. So more to come on that and that content. We're going to be pushing that through TTTP Racing and at Dirt Therapy Project. Let me just say this podcast is separate from the Dirt Therapy Project, so anything I say doesn't it's not on behalf of the Dirt Therapy. Like what I'm saying right now is, but a lot of the ideas and stuff like that is separate from the program. So I'm just trying to partition that so people don't it's a Dirt Therapy Project. Yeah,
absolutely.
Because I say stupid shit sometimes. So with that, I appreciate you coming on, man. I hope to have you on again, and we'll do this again. But in the meantime,
We'll keep riding good. Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully enjoyed that food and.
Yeah, dude, that was good.
Yeah,
that was good. That was good. Yeah, and it's a good cook for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah, but thanks again, man. Appreciate you. So if you guys are watching on video and video is not for you, go to any streaming platform such as Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio. It's on all of them with the exception of Apple. I don't know why they don't let me in. However, if not, we're going to be bringing more content, more video to you. If you guys have any comments, I just ask you to be respectful. And as always, do your own research, critically think for yourself. And we're just trying to have a good time with it, trying to get your feelings hurt tonight.
Absolutely.
Right,
Thank you so much, man. That's awesome.
All right. Out.
Appreciate it. I think that one went off by itself. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It turned on again. Hello.
SD Fool.
It's this fool.
Hello.
Alrighty. It's me.
Oh, yeah, don't forget about that.